Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth. Well, it seems sooner or later the chickens have to come home to roost. Now, admittedly, I don't watch anything about Fox Sports. Last time I had anything to say about them, it was when Emmanuel Ocho was opening up his stupid mouth, making a tasteless comparison between black female basketball players in college and dogs, while Joy Taylor basically wasn't saying anything while he was making this comparison. But that was about the last time that I actually paid attention to anything going on over at that sewer Fox Sports. Now, this is not going to be a comprehensive commentary on this. Nobody's done that because this is a lawsuit and it's just the beginning of a legal action, so you can't be comprehensive. But I am going to address what I feel are the most salient points of what I think about those. Though I think I should say from the outset that my take on this probably won't be what you think it is. The upshot, for those who don't know, is that a former hairdresser at Fox Sports has filed a lawsuit against several people at the network, including Skip Bayless and even Joy Taylor, as well as an executive vice president by the name of Charlie Dixon. And there's also some 24 John Does who are also mentioned. So it seems the accusations from this woman are only just getting started, and it looks like she intends to cast a wide net too. The main accusation is against Skip Bayless. He's the main one that this lawsuit is concerning the behavior of. And it couldn't happen to a nicer punk. This woman accuses Skip Bayless of being a serial groper, says that he touched her inappropriately and propositioned her for sex, allegedly offering her $1.5 million to have sex with him. Can you imagine the nightmare of on a daily basis having this shriveled up Skeletor-looking punk telling you that he wants to sleep with you? I'll offer you $1.5 million. You can't turn it down. It's a deal too good to turn down. Can you imagine Skip Bayless trying to hit you up for sex? That's the stuff of nightmares. According to the lawsuit, during one of the many incidents where this woman turned down Skip Bayless's advances, Bayless allegedly asked, "Aren't you Muslim? Doesn't your dad have 3 or 4 wives?" But it hardly stopped there. The lawsuit claims that in April of 2022, Bayless became furious with the plaintiff because Bayless thought that she was having sex with Shannon Sharpe. She wasn't, of course, and according to the lawsuit, there was a text message that she sent in which she reiterated that she was not sleeping with Shannon Sharpe. Apparently, Skip Bayless didn't respond to that. As everyone knows, Skip Bayless's habit of consistently disrespecting Shannon Sharpe increased markedly during this period, with the rancor getting so bad that it spilled out on air for the world to see. Shannon Sharpe left undisputed just a year later in May of 2023, a year after this lawsuit says that Skip Bayless was on a warpath because he thought that this woman was sleeping with Shannon Sharpe. Now, the lawsuit's inference is clear. Skip Bayless was furious that this woman, Faraji, refused his advances, and when he got the idea that perhaps she was sleeping with Shannon Sharpe, that made Bayless enraged, to the point that he went beyond the usual day-to-day disrespect towards Sharpe to going overboard to be as personal and insulting toward Shannon Sharpe as possible. That's what the inference here is. What was it that made Skip Bayless feel that he had to go at Shannon Sharpe every chance he got? Was it perhaps he was feeling sexually inadequate for a man who wasn't even fooling with this woman? But that's what happens when you're dumb. Skip Bayless's white privilege took a fatal blow. Here he was, reduced to having to offer this woman $1.5 million, allegedly, to sleep with him. Meanwhile, he's looking and going, "I'll bet you Shannon Sharpe's hitting it for free." No, but the truth of the matter is Skip Bayless is so unattractive and unappealing, anybody could get over on him in the sexual marketplace. See, when you live under white privilege, those who are the beneficiaries of it are supposed to get whatever they want, because the society has been engineered to hand them resources simply because of their skin color. They get to have money, they get to have social status, and of course sexual access to whatever woman they want. That's the devil's bargain that white power made with its beneficiaries. They know it, and they rely on it, and they revel in it. But when they see a black person's getting what they feel is supposed to be theirs, then they just lose it. They simply can't handle it. Now, I can't say for sure whether this claim by Faraji is true, but I can say we can all agree Skip Bayless's long-documented history of being deliberately and unnecessarily disrespectful towards black men makes it very easy to believe that this is true. Now, the plaintiff, Faraji, also alleges that Charlie Dixon, the head of content for Fox Sports 1, grabbed her buttocks at a birthday party in West Hollywood. Faraji claims that she told this to Joy Taylor, of all people, and that Joy Taylor told her to get over it, according to the lawsuit. Which I find to be more than a little curious considering the fact that Miss Faraji admits that she knew that Taylor was allegedly sleeping with Mr. Dixon at that time. So she confides in a woman who she knows is having a sexual affair with this man who she claims just got through sexually battering her. Now, the point of the lawsuit is supposed to be claims about sexual battery and sexual harassment, and yet the lawsuit does spend a good amount of page space devoted to Joy Taylor dishing the dirt, as it is, saying that in August of 2016, Charlie Dixon and his wife attended a dinner with Joy Taylor and her then husband. The lawsuit says that it was during this dinner that Miss Taylor's husband began to suspect that Joy Taylor was having a sexual affair with Charlie Dixon. According to Faraji's lawsuit, Joy's husband found proof of the affair and divorced her. So, Faraji is saying that Joy Taylor was committing adultery against her husband, sleeping with her employer, and that's how she rose through the ranks, and that this alleged affair led to the end of Joy Taylor's marriage. But the lawsuit claims that Joy Taylor continued her sexual relationship with her boss even after the divorce. In fact, talking about Joy Taylor's sexual escapades was so important to Faraji that she had part of her lawsuit titled in boldface saying, "Miss Taylor again uses her sexuality to get on a show." And then Faraji's lawsuit goes on to say that Joy Taylor and Emmanuel Acho were romantically involved. Faraji doesn't explain how she knows this. Were there any public displays of affection, naughty text messages or photos that she saw? Instead, she says that she could tell they were romantically involved. Faraji's suit then goes on to claim that Joy Taylor told Faraji that she wanted Acho to recommend her for the show Speak for Yourself. Faraji claims that she remembered Taylor was sleeping with Charlie Dixon during this period, and that she advised her that she shouldn't be sleeping with both Charlie Dixon and Acho at the same time because Dixon's a powerful man and probably wouldn't like that. Well, Faraji then dropped the second bombshell against Taylor, saying that Taylor told her not to worry because Joy said she was now also powerful and that once Mr. Dixon was no longer useful to her, she was planning to tell the company that he had forced himself on her and that she wasn't going to allow Dixon to force her out like he had other women at the network. Now, I thought this lawsuit was supposed to be about sexual battery and sexual harassment, none of which Joy Taylor is being accused of, and yet it seems now that Joy Taylor's name has come up, this lawsuit has turned into a gossip page. And putting in the stuff about Taylor allegedly saying that she was powerful now, and as soon as her boss was no longer useful to her, she would make a sexual assault claim against the company, that's something that isn't germane to Faraji's lawsuit at all, because even if this allegation is true, it has nothing to do with anything that Faraji says happened to her. But what it does do is to paint Joy Taylor as being a conniving thought who was sleeping with the boss and her co-workers, basically trading sex for career advancement, and that she's allegedly scheming and just waiting for an opportunity to Me Too a senior executive for some cash. Now, to be honest, I can easily believe that the only reason that Taylor is working for Fox Sports is because someone at the network thought that she and her bust line was cute. White power is all about them having the ability to pick and choose who the winners are, not based on merit, talent, or skill, but based on how useful they think someone is to them. Fox's television networks are notoriously discriminatory when it comes to the women who they put on air. This is part of Roger Ailes and Rupert Murdoch's putrid legacy in the white media. Both of these men wanted Fox News to get the attention of the racist rubes who they were trying to attract as an audience. Middle-aged and elderly perverts like Rupert Murdoch and Roger Ailes are the prime demo that Fox News wants to appeal to. Roger Ailes knew that nobody would be dumb enough to actually take Fox News seriously as a news network, so they would need something other than that to keep their target audience of racists from changing the channel. So Roger Ailes basically asked himself, hey, what would it take for me to keep watching this? And of course what he came up with was, let's have some white blonde women who he thinks were photogenic. And Fox Sports would duplicate that exact same formula. The women who are on the air for Fox Sports or Fox News are eye candy only. They're not to be taken seriously. They're simply there so that the largely male audiences for these broadcast sewers won't change the channel. But of course these women get canned as soon as they start showing their age. That's how it is at Fox. Now, talking about Fox Sports, an arena that's 100% male-oriented, the understanding that any women who are on air there are strictly eye candy, that's even more severe. So Joy Taylor may not be getting the boot, but a claim like the one that Faraji threw in there, saying that Taylor's plotting some sort of Me Too maneuver against a senior white executive at the network, that could make it where wherever Joy Taylor leaves or goes to after Fox Sports, she may not be able to get picked up anywhere else. That's a possibility with claims like this on a lawsuit. The suit also has some minor stuff, like it says that Joy Taylor began insulting Miss Faraji on a personal and professional level after their friendship ended. The suit also alleges that Taylor mocked the English pronunciation of Faraji, who is of Persian descent. The lawsuit says Miss Faraji brings forth this action because for over a decade at Fox, she was forced to endure a misogynistic, racist, and ableist workplace where executives and talent were allowed to physically and verbally abuse workers with impunity. Now, regardless of what I think about the claims regarding Skip Bayless, the truth of the matter is when people go to work at Fox, any of their outlets, you know what the heck you're in for. You know exactly what the corporate culture there is. They are infamous for it. So yeah, you can dislike the way you get treated by the creeps over there at Fox, but you can't claim that, oh my God, I can't believe it's like this. That's what they're about. They're a free fire zone for all of these mostly white males to be as racist, sexist, and all the rest of it as they want to be. That was the point of setting those places up as a safe space for that kind of behavior, but only for them. Now, I'm no lawyer, and the law being as convoluted as it is, I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to take me to task for this. But schadenfreude aside, I'm looking at these accusations against Joy Taylor, and it's basically Faraji saying that she didn't immediately agree with the accuser when she said that the boss was doing something or that Skip Bayless did something, and then later on claims to have some sort of interpersonal conflict. Basically, it looks like Faraji just added Taylor to the suit in order to dish some gossip about her under the guise that it's a legitimate part of the lawsuit. She's throwing everything against the wall here. Again, not defending, sympathizing with, or running interference for Joy Taylor. I could care less about her. But the thing about it is, I couldn't help but look at this and go, it sounds more like this is just basically this woman settling some old scores, what it smells and sounds like. And as for Emmanuel Acho, that guy's a professional white executive butt kisser. Everybody knows it. He wears his bootlick and tether credentials as a badge of dishonor. He thinks that this makes him smart. I wonder how smart he feels now, though. But as I've always said, bootlicks are stupid, that's why they're bootlicks, and tethers are worse. So what's the end game for this plaintiff? To try to get a check, that's what the point is. Megyn Kelly, the bottle blonde bigot, filed a lawsuit against Fox News, where she spent over a decade spouting all manner of racist gibberish. She, of course, settled with Fox for an undisclosed and no doubt very lucrative amount. Before I go any further here, I hope that no one's dense enough to think that I'm sticking up for any of the clowns mentioned in this lawsuit. I feel like I have to say that because some folks don't listen so well. In my opinion, Faraji's attempts to claim that Taylor mocked her because of the pronunciation of her name or was making a hostile work environment, it smells exaggerated. These claims against Taylor sound like they were done solely so that Faraji could say all the other stuff about Taylor's alleged sleeping around. To me, Faraji's going scorched earth and settling some old scores. Now, that doesn't change the fact that pretty much everybody who's hearing this is reacting and going, you know what? This sounds exactly like what we thought was going on there the whole time. So we can be disgusted by the accusations, but even if they do prove to be false in whole or in part, none of the people involved can blame anyone but themselves for why so much of the public feels that there is a ring of truth to these accusations. The white media is a whorehouse, literally, as was being confirmed during the MeToo scandals. The white media is dirty as hell, and it's inconceivable that the racist liars and criminals who run these propaganda mills would hire anyone there, especially a black person, unless they had been given the highest of assurances that this compliant Negro would do anything to get a check, and that does mean anything. The gossip about Acho and Taylor, while disgusting, isn't what Faraji's lawsuit was supposed to be about. And while people are focusing on whether Taylor and Acho are bumping uglies or not, the result is less attention being put on Skip Bayless. Yes, all of these people are peas in a pod, and none of them deserves our sympathy or support, and they won't get it. But while we're busy watching these bootlicks getting dragged, let's not forget the entire reason this is happening is because of Skip Bayless, not Joy Taylor's alleged sexual exploits. If Fox's past behavior is any indication, this woman will wind up getting some cash, which is what she's really after. Skip Bayless doesn't work at Fox Sports anymore. He got paid way too much money to be there in the first place. If this lawsuit, however, does discourage any other white media outlet from putting this washed-up scumbag on the air somewhere else, well, that would be a happy ending to the story. And as for Joy Taylor and Acho, at some point they need to address this. Now, I can understand why they're not jumping out in front of the cameras immediately right now, because that would open them up to Faraji accusing them of defamation on the grounds that their denials are somehow defaming her character. But this does go to show why I don't watch white media entertainment, I'm not interested in sports, and why I tell you that you probably shouldn't be either. See, it matters to me who makes the TV shows and the movies that I watch. It matters to me who's in front of those cameras. I can't separate the two. I know that a lot of people can, and I don't judge anyone if they do. I'm pretty extreme, I admit that. But we do need to understand that when you give someone your attention, you're empowering them. When you decide that you're going to be watching these networks, you're making it possible for these people to give Skip Bayless a 4-year, $32 million contract. Your eyeballs, your attention is what empowers these white media outlets to give racists like Skip Bayless FU money. For the few of you who may not know, FU money is exactly what it sounds like. It's when someone has so much money that they can tell their bosses or anyone else they don't like to FU. But normally this phrase is invoked in relation to an employee and their employer. Your eyeballs enabled Skip Bayless to get some FU money, but he didn't use it to tell his white bosses FU. Instead, he decided to say FU to black men every chance he got. Never mind that without black men, Skip Bayless wouldn't have a career. He certainly wouldn't have anything to talk about that anyone would want to hear. He made his entire career talking about black men as disrespectfully as he thought he could get away with. And without his foils like Stephen Smith and Shannon Sharp, Bayless would have long since already been banished back to radio a long time ago. And speaking of banished, Joy Taylor ought to start watching her back. Not because she'll be able to protect herself, she won't, but at least she'll be able to see which one of her good buddies up there at Fox Sports puts the knife in her back. The white media has no long-term plans for her, and this has most likely cut her would-be career even shorter than it already would have been. If she thinks being light-skinned with double D's means job security, then she's dumber than she looks. She does what a lot of women in media do. She thinks that by showing plunging cleavage that apparently the attention that she gets from the horny males who watch these kind of shows is somehow going to translate into her being seen as indispensable by the network, as if the network couldn't immediately replace her with another well-endowed female before lunch that day. White men, especially those with power, have historically loved being able to sleep with a black woman, wine and dine them for a bit, and then as soon as they finish having their naughty fun, toss them out with the trash. The story always ends the same way. Once white power is done with its tool, it breaks its tool. Now, of course, we're not going to waste any time waiting to see if and when Joy Taylor or Acho eventually gets shown the door, the same way that I didn't watch to see when Skip Bayless predictably would lose his job at Fox Sports. But I hope this cautionary tale gets through to a few of the black folks who might lurk around here. You know, the ones who are so money hungry or so thirsty for clout that they'll do anything to get it. A lot of Negroes have gladly sold their souls to white power for a check. And in the end, the only thing more bankrupt than their bank account is their morals. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. Mouse, Black Voltron Reloaded, Ogenero Imo Asa, Zachariah Williams, and Christopher Pittman. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.